Hello, hi. My name is Syatirah binti ROSLAN. My matric number is 2190847. Today, I will present the question of my final examination. I choose question 2 from third topic, which is the implication of transnational organised crime towards the economic stability of Southeast Asia. Transnational organised crime is organised crime coordinated across national borders, involving groups or markets of individuals working in more than one country to plan and execute illegal business ventures. In order to achieve their goals, these crime groups use systematic violence and corruption. Common transnational organised crime include conveying drugs, conveying arms, trafficking for sex, toxic waste disposal, material theft, and poaching. The transnational organised crime covers only crime that are transnational, a term used broadly. The term covers not only offences committed in more than one state, but also those that take place in one state but are planned or controlled in another. Also include a crime in one state committed by group that operate in more than one state, and crime committed in one state that has substantial effects in another state. The implied definition transnational organised crime then encompasses virtually all profit motivated serious criminal activities with international implication. These broad definitions take account of the global complexity of the issue and allow cooperation on the widest possible range of common concerns. The issue of transnational organised crime towards the economy is human smuggling. Human smuggling is the facilitation, transportation, attempt transportation, or illegal entry of a person or persons across an international border in violation of one or more countries' law, either clandestinely or through deception, whether with the use of fraudulent document or through the evasion of legitimate border controls. It is a criminal commercial transaction between willing parties who go their separate way once they have procured illegal entry into a country. The vast majority of people who are assist in illegal entry are smuggled rather than trafficked. International human smuggling networks are linked to other transnational crime, including drug trafficking and the corruption of government officials. They can move criminal, fugitive, terrorists, and trafficking victims, as well as economic migrants. They undermine the sovereignty of national and often endanger the life of those being smuggled. Second is expansion of drug trafficking. Despite the demonstrable counter-drug success in recent years, particularly against the cocaine trade, illicit drugs remain a serious threat to the health, safety, security, and financial well-being. The demand for illicit drugs fuel the power, impunity, and violence of criminal organizations around the globe. There have also been instances of smuggler heroin to the Southeast Asia country. Many of the well-established organized crime groups that had not involved the drug trafficking are now establishing ties to drug procedure to develop their own distribution network and markets. The expansion of drug trafficking is often accompanied by dramatic increases in local crime and corruption. The last issue is trafficking in person. Trafficking in person or human trafficking refer to activities involved when one person obtain or hold another person in compelled service, such as involuntary servitude, slavery, debt bondage, and forced labor. Trafficking in person specially target the trafficked person as an object of criminal exploitation, often for labor exploitation of sexual exploitation purpose, and trafficking victims are frequently physically and emotionally abused. Although trafficking in person is generally throw off as an international crime that involves the crossing of border. Trafficking in person victims can also be trafficked within their own countries. Traffickers can move victims between locations within the same country and often sell them to another trafficking organizations. The implication of transnational organized crime is threats to the economic and strategic markets. Transnational organized crime threatens the economic interest can cause significant damage to the world financial system through its subversion, exploitation of legitimate market and economic activity. The World Bank estimates about 1 trillion is spent each year to bribe public officials, causing an array of economic distortion and damage to legitimate economic activity. The price of doing business in countries affected by transnational organized crime is also rising as companies budget for additional security costs, adversely impacting foreign direct investment in many parts of the world. Transnational organized crime activities can lead to disruption of the global supply chain, which in turn economic competitiveness and impact the ability in relationship with state-owned entities, industries, or state-allied actors. Could gain influence over key commodities markets such as gas, oil, aluminium, and precious metals, along the potential exploitation of the transportation sector. After that, penetration of state institution, corruption, and threats to governance. Developing countries with weak rule of law can be particularly susceptible to transnational organized crime penetration. Transnational organized crime penetration of state is deepening, leading to co-option in a few cases and further weakening of governance in many others. The appearance growing nexus in some states among transnational organized crime group can element of government, including intelligence service. The high-level business figure represent a significant threat to economic growth and democratic institution. In countries with weak governance, there are corrupt officials who turn a blind eye to transnational organized crime activities. Transnational organized crime networks insinuate themselves into the political process in a variety of ways. This is often accomplished through direct, but also by having members run for office, setting up shadow economies, infiltrating financial and security sectors through coercion or corruption, and position themselves as alternate providers or governance security service. As they expand, transnational organized crime network may threaten stability and undermine free market as they build alliance with political leaders, financial institutions, law enforcement, foreign intelligence and security agencies. Transnational organized crime also penetrations of governments is exacerbating corruption and undermining governance rule of law. The challenges is the country will face a high economic crisis. This is because the country has to bear the cost for foreigners who enter the country. For example, cost of living and medical costs. Situation like this will cause the country's economy to be affected because it is necessary to produce the country's economic resources to bear the cost of foreigners. Therefore, this is a rather complicated challenge that the country has to face as a result of this organised crime. In addition, the country also needs to face more influx of foreigners into the country. This is due to the strategic position of the country. Asian countries like Malaysia also provide many job offers. Therefore, more and more foreigners are attracted to enter the country to take the job opportunities. In addition, there are also some of them who carry out criminal activities in addition to doing construction work offered by the country. For example, the commit drug trafficking, rape, robbery and so on. Therefore, the country has to face such a challenge if many foreigners enter the country. The conclusion is there are constant pressure on the criminal justice system to take on role for which it has traditionally not been equipped. Given the widespread belief that the world is underseen by criminal organizations, those pressures are likely to increase. The popular view is that the world is facing a new criminal threat, new crime and enough increase. Justice should always be conservative, hesitating to follow fate and fashion, and arguable the degree to which there is a new, greatly expanded criminal challenge has been exaggerated perfect grossly.